the value in networking?
I like in-person dealing more now with the shows.
There was a lot of foul activity going on, and no one's talking about it.
I feel like I see less patience in the hobby today. I want to get your thoughts on it. When you hear of the large dollar amounts now around PMGs, what do you think?
What it takes for someone to spend that much money on any card.
Fanatics did something tonight I had never heard about. They have a lottery.
We got you on the line.
Oh my goodness, we're both on the line.
Hey,
I don't think that the fact that they did Be Friends and Jackass is going to have any impact on how they treat sports cards.
So I asked you, FD, since we're rolling with FD.
let's roll, man. What's up? You got to let the people know who you're rolling with, man.
Well, obviously I'm rolling with FD.
What's up, everybody? What's going on? What's happening? I'm trying to wear my White Sox hat here. What's up, everyone? What's new and exciting? Monday, August 16th. Gold Label will be on here shortly. Hey, it's an honor and privilege to be here. It's good to talk about sports, the hobby, everything in between. It's a sheer pleasure. A sheer pleasure. How's everyone's day going? Give me one thing that's exciting that happened in your day. Edgar, we're rolling. Let me know something exciting that happened in your day. Let me think here. For me, I came home and had lunch with my family. Sat down and talked a little bit about a few things. Said hello to some folks. Demetrius, what's going on, man? How you doing? Demetrius, give me something that was exciting in your day. We got TJ here from Gold Label.
Yo.
How you doing?
What's up, man?
I was asking everybody, what's something that's exciting that happened in your day? TJ, anything exciting happened in your day today?
Exciting. I don't know. I'm switching jobs here shortly, so a new venture with that. So that's exciting. Finishing up here. So another chapter. You know what I mean?
That's what it's all about. Demetrius says he woke up in his right mind. Now that is exciting. It's very exciting, sir. That's right.
I like it.
TJ, what's new and exciting though, man? What's going on?
Yeah. Well, last time we talked, I said I was starting to buy up some ungraded cards. So starting on that grading journey. So I'm going to be starting some new stuff. So going to be really focusing on buying just raw, modern stars, but also vintage like Brady, modern like Mahomes. I found this sweet. I don't know if you can see that one. It's like opposite on my end.
I saw this on your IG.
But I found this for like $40, and it's an easy PSA 10. I mean, I'm not a grader, but people are giving away Mahomes because they're giving up on them already. So I'm trying to scoop up deals like that. Also, too, like I said, trying to get some sealed product. Obsidian Basketball, one of my favorite products, is releasing this week. Those are anyone watching, those are some of the rarest modern cards. Every single one is pretty much numbered, besides the base cards. So I'm going to be grabbing up some hobby boxes of those to keep, and then open a few. Try and get some new chits. Then I found this Tom Brady Topps DPP black refractor right here. You can see nice. Just trying to get that stuff. This is probably going to be probably a 9 or a 9.5, but it's a little off centering wise, but you know what I mean? So just doing that stuff, trying to find these really good older cards for cheap, and just enjoying it, man. Enjoying it.
So let's jump into this now. Are you finding cards? Because I have an idea that popped into my head today. I've been seeing some things. Are you seeing cards more on like eBay or other websites, or are you finding cards at shows or your local card store?
I mean, my local card shop has everything. I mean, I got a good guy over in Charlotte where I'm from. Pretty regular down there. He sells really like number card, rare cards, rare inserts, all that stuff, basketball, football, for pretty good price. I think he's a millionaire too, so he can afford some losses. But he always has good deals. But also right now, I'm just noticing a lot of people are dumping their cards on eBay. You know, a lot of people like.
This is what I know.
Yep.
I found this Tom Brady black refractor at I think it was 6 a.m, just because I was up taking my dogs out for a walk. And I was like, oh man, I got a notification, and then boom, picked it up. So stuff like that. I'm just making sure that I'm searching for the right things right now, not just anything.
Yeah, I think eBay is going to be everyone's friend, because it seems like there's some cars I'm seeing on eBay that are for sale, or even, I'm going to say this, whatever social media you may be using. If you're using Facebook Marketplace, or you're using IG to buy and sell cards, and you know these people, like you have a network and you know who's selling and who you're buying from, or vice versa. I'm seeing some cars there that I may not see other places.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's just where you are. Just like when you're growing a brand, we talked about before, you got to be where your audience is at. You got to be where you have the most traction. So, that's where just building that community, really comes into your favor and helps you, grow a good, solid portfolio.
Yeah, we got trigger finger saying FD looking like 1990 Frank Thomas with that cool. This is that rookie year Frank Thomas hat, tag and stuff on first base. Yes, thank you, trigger finger.
Hey, Frank Thomas is a legend, FD.
He is a legend, and it's interesting how the hobby is like. You don't hear anybody talking about Frank Thomas. There are a few 500 home run hitters. You don't hear anybody talking about.
Nope. That's one of the things. I mean, I think what's wrong with the hobby is, for example, right? I actually got in an argument with somebody on social media about, they told me I was a scrub because I didn't want to spend $220,000 on a Trevor Lawerence card. You see what I'm talking about? So it's all the way the media portrays these people, the hype, everything like that. I personally think these guys are going to be a bust because it's just, you can't convince me otherwise. So
I'll say this, the quarterback position, I tell people this all the time, and it's not just because I played the sport, just watching it. That's one of the roughest positions to play in almost any sport.
100%.
I would say that, starting pitcher, closing pitcher, field goal kicker. There are some things that the intensity that is on you. And when you play quarterback, what you have to know, and like people, you got players that people take for granted, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning. We can even go back, Joe Montana, Troy Aikman. There are players that just make it look easy, but it's not easy.
Absolutely.
You got defenses that morph. As soon as that ball is snapped or about to be snapped, and it's something totally different. If you can't recognize that, you're going to have a problem. So just to think that we have 4 or 5 young quarterbacks right now, and all of them are going to pan out, history has shown us that's not going to be the case.
There's no way. And that's the thing too. I've never seen so much hype on a first and second year class in my entire sport career. Even when, I remember when Aaron Rodgers, I'm a Packers fan, he was behind Brett Favre for 4 or 5 years before he got his chance. That's right. And he became great because he studied the greats. Trevor Lawerence, Zach Wilson, all these guys, they've had no one to look at and say, man, I'm going to learn from this guy and be great. Everyone's saying Drew Lock is going to be a superstar. I just can't go on it. Right now too, my example is Aaron Rodgers, everyone's overlooking him. He's a Hall of Famer. I had somebody say that Trevor Lawerence is going to be better than Peyton Manning. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. When Trevor Lawerence,
who take real risk taking, and then they morph that into some sort of confidence.
Justification. Yeah. It's justification. I'm sitting here going, man, I'm going to put, let's say, $220,000. I saw his Trevor Lawrence's RPA or something sold for big money, right? That black finite card that was a PSA 6.
Yeah, 150,000.
What are we doing? And this is the thing. I think it definitely gives a horrible example. People are telling me that I'm a scrub and I'm a nobody in the hobby because I go to and master the basics, where you can take a card like I just showed you, like a Brady card right here, that's worth 60, 70 to 120 bucks raw, right? And know how to flip it into something that's worth 400. No one's sticking around those basic principles of how to make money, right? And really build up your collection raw and graded.
But you know what I think it is? Now, some people may say, FD, you're naive. But I think what you're talking about, right, and what I try to do when I go out is boring. Like, people don't want to see that. They don't want to see the it's like when you watch an old school boxing match and you see a guy for the first 8 rounds, he's throwing body shots. He hasn't thrown anything to the head yet. And then he starts working his way there. right? You're talking about a strategy, a step-by-step approach that you may make $100 off a card here, you may make $200 off a card there, you may make $300 off a card here, and then before you know, with the amount of cards that you have and how you go into the step-by-step approach, when you get to a situation, that's what I always tell people, where you see a $2,000 card raw and what that could be later, you're already ready for that. You've gone through the proper steps to get yourself ready for that. But people just are not interested in that. I remember when we first started YouTube. The comments that will come in was like, you're not buying enough, you're not selling enough, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. And then I started letting people know, well, I'm showing what I actually do. What I'm doing all the time, what I was doing before we started the channel, how my mind works, what strategies am I building.
And I think too, the people that are really going to be doing that, especially with this new reset, I think it's that we're in a sports card market reset, and people don't understand the opportunity, right? SGC I think is going to be one of the biggest players here. I am only going to be grading with SGC for a while. I mean, if I want to buy a card with PSA, I'm just going to buy it with PSA. I've done that strategy, and I've 10, 20x my returns. I mean, I've done YouTube videos, YouTube shorts showing my ROI. I'm not shy of telling people that stuff. I think too, it's like these young kids are coming in too as well, and they're looking up to these quarterbacks, and great, that's awesome for the hobby too. But then you have the big influencers, and I'm not a big influencer. I got a small channel, right? Only like 3,500 subscribers. We're in the middle grounds, right? We're trying to help people not get kind of carried away with the entertainment portion of it, and focus on the principles that matter, that are going to matter, now, but also 5 years down the long, basic business ethics, morals, principles, how to do things the right way, and how to invest in the people, even if it's boring, right? Even if you buy 100 Tom Brady cards, that's boring. You know what I mean? Even if it's Tom Brady, that's really boring. And if, but guess what? If you compound those cards up, your return on investment, 5, 10, 20, 30, whatever, it's going to add up. It's going to add up to something.
I had a friend that I really respect asked me last week, what quarterbacks are you buying? And I said, Tom Brady.
Yep, Tom Brady.
And they were like, oh, really? Yeah, that's it. I'm not going down this road with anyone else and playing that game. Not doing that.
Yeah, you're going to be in debt and lose something if you put $220,000 in Trevor Lawerence. Like, I did his stats last year. He threw like 15 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, 3,500 yards. Looked horrible. And the only reason why I'm so hard on this guy is because I remember when they played Alabama in the semifinal, he got absolutely abused. I've never seen somebody get that, like, just crushed in my life in a game. And guess what happened to him in Jacksonville his first year? And he like hardly even played. He played a good amount, but not like, like a Blake Bortles did for all those years. Down there. So
now
they went to
3,500 yards in the league right now is not 3,500 yards in the league 20 years ago.
No, like right now,
course, what you should be doing.
You should be doing that.
Yeah,
and the Peytons of the world and the Aaron Rodgers of the world. Those guys are throwing 4,000, 5,000. I mean, you got Patrick Mahomes 5,000 yards a season, no matter what. No matter what. And that's why with me, like, I'm really focusing on Panini Select, of course, as well. I've loved Select since 2-3 years ago, before people even knew what it was. I think it's more rare, more valuable than Prism. You guys may hate me, but it also is a lower population, has better eye appeal. And when you're talking about the premier levels, the field levels, concourse, courtside, all these different variations, I just don't even think they compare to Prism. If you want to get the good Prism, you go back to 2014, 2013 with Kobe, Steph Curry. Those are the true Prism cards that are low population. Even the base cards, are only pop 100 for PSA 10s. I just bought a Kobe base 2014. I think it was Select. It was like pop 82. What? Like for a base card? Think about that in today's world, right? It's crazy
compared to today. Yeah.
And even Kobe right now, like, I think he's still so underrated. I mean, I think if you're going to sit there and buy up Kobe, you're doing so. You're going to be able to have a retirement fund one day. And that's not me just hyping it up. It's like stuff like that. So
let me ask you this question: why is Kobe's market so low right now?
I think because he passed away and people are just, afraid. Because it's like,
you think he's irrelevant now because he passed away? Because we don't see another jump shot. We don't see him on the news. We don't see him doing an interview.
I think so. And that's the unfortunate thing is like that's where like I don't fit in with the crowd, especially if I would go to these card shows, you know what I mean? Like I want to do. And I am, if I walk up to somebody's table, I'm going to be asking them, where's your vintage baseball? Where's your Kobe? Where's your, 2003 LeBron? I'm not going to sit there and be like, where's your 2022 Trevor Lawerence? It's just, I think we're different breeds. I watched your video when you pick up that amazing Curry card, right? It's like, we're a different breed because, eventually these people are going to fade out, where the entertainment, goes away, the money's gone, all this stuff. Panini ain't signing you to a record, to a break deal. That stuff's going to be gone when Fanatics comes into play. But it's like, that's what I'm talking about. You got to think sustainably in the long term. Especially if you want to be around, I could go on, but it just frustrates me, especially when I'm creating content, when you're putting out, videos that are going to help people change their life on business and ethics around cards. But then you got people that all they care about is breaking a case open and, spending $100,000. It just doesn't, it's what gets the clicks and views, but I'm just against that stuff.
So we're talking about Zach, the quarterback of the Jets. He goes for I guess it was his right sideline, almost around the hash mark. He tries to do a little juke move.
Oh, yeah, I saw.
It looks like he destroys his knee. Because I've seen Jamal Anderson. I've seen many, many players over time make that same move. And completely rip their at least one ligament, ACL or MCL, up. Supposedly he's evaluated briefly, and they're saying that he has a meniscus tear.
Yep.
Me personally, I think that injury is more serious than a meniscus tear.
Oh, 100%. I saw that. I mean, he's underplaying it to not worry people. But guess what? He's going to play. He's going to be out, and he's going to try and play again. A meniscus tear is not 2 weeks; it's a minimum of 6 weeks.
That's right.
So, all those investors
fail to realize that you can do a compound injury to your knee. So he may have a meniscus tear. But what else does he have going on?
Yeah,
that's going to affect the Jets overall? There were people at the National, dropping serious money.
Crazy, man.
It's crazy.
I would. I mean, I'm just going to tell you until somebody is. I mean, I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan, even though he can't win a Super Bowl. Like you want to talk about just greatness? I mean, even regular season, I think. Aaron Rodgers is going to be one of, he's up there with Tom Brady as the greatest regular season quarterback, in my opinion, ever, statistically speaking, right? Even if he doesn't win another Super Bowl, he's still going to go to the Hall of Fame. Okay. So I'd rather spend $100,000 on Aaron Rodgers easily than these other guys. I mean,
it's a much more of a low risk play with Rodgers. I think people must be looking for. I'm gonna spend $1. I'm gonna get 1,000 back. People betting on the horses.
It seems like it. I mean, the people just can't wait. FD. I mean, the biggest thing is, this is a patient game. If you can't be patient, you're not going to profit. And you can trademark that right here, FD. You've got to be patient. One of the things I've learned is, when I told this story last time was when the Jordan documentary came out, I had all the big cards that were out when they were $20. Back in the day, I sold too soon because I was like, oh man, I'm going to sell during the documentary. And that was my biggest mistake ever. I sold for let's say, only like $5,000. And if I would have held out just 3 months later, I would have had 40. You see what I'm saying? So it's like little stuff like that. You have to be patient. You can't time things, but just, I followed the crowd one time and I never will do it again.
Okay. So we got Edgar Flores here saying the rookie class always tends to be most quick to flip.
Yep. And that's where people, are thinking it's quick flips, quick cash, but it's not going to last. Never does. Last maybe 6 to 8 months. By the trade deadline, they're doing horrible, and then they dump.
Finger says, I bet if Wilson comes back, he eventually tears that thing weeks later. It's inevitable if it doesn't heal right.
Yep, I agree.
It's interesting how that goes. Will says, when is Prism making a Zach Wilson?
That was a crazy story.
For that variant, huh? Interesting.
That was great.
Yeah, a lot of these plays, I mean, I don't know. None of us know it all, but it just seems like some of the stuff you see with these young quarterbacks is just very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like even just going in like for basketball, for example, right? Like, everyone says, "Oh, stay." It's got to be rookie year, or else it's not worth nothing. All right, so I love Luka. I just got this Luka Pop 1 Disco Prism right here. Pop 1 PSA 10 2020, like third or fourth year.
Mhm.
When he crushes it this year, this will go up by $100 bucks and flip it. You see what I'm saying? So like people don't want to do that stuff. It's like if I don't make $25,000 today, it's I hate sports cards. So it drives me bonkers.
We got triggered like Found About LeBron. Dude's going to break the scoring record. Any sleep LeBron cards you guys like? I believe LeBron is probably one of the people that has a lot of cards that most people don't even pay attention to.
Yeah, I was even looking inside of like Obsidian, Selects, all these cards. All you gotta do is find the rare variants. I mean, if you can get your hands on the rare variants in 9s and 10s, also serial numbered. I mean, that's really all I'm trying to look for raw. LeBron's cards are tanked right now, and if the Lakers don't do well, even if he breaks the record, I think his market won't move at all.
I agree with that. And I believe we all know he's going to break the record.
Of course.
That's already in the price of his cards. I wouldn't expect a huge jump when he hits a bucket or dunks or shoots a three and goes past that record. We know that's coming.
Yeah, I just think people they can't get over the fact that he's never going to win the title again. I just don't think he's going to. I think the Warriors are going to be back in there this year again. Mm-hmm. And then from the East, I still don't know. Don't know yet, but.
Let me show you a picture, and I want to get your thoughts on this. I was in a conversation with a friend today. Draymond Green got married this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Several former teammates and current teammates came to his wedding. But one picture in particular, sports is just a little bit different than when I grew up. All right, one picture in particular. Let me get this right here. This picture right here. You got LeBron, you got Draymond, and you got Steph.
All rings, the rings.
4 rings. Now we know that LeBron and Draymond have the same agent.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron's high school teammate. High school teammate.
You think Draymond's going to go?
I believe Draymond's going to be the first person to end up leaving Golden State at some point. Out of that three, I think he's going to be the first. No, I
think too. I mean, not many people like Draymond, but he revolutionized that team. I mean, you want to talk about a versatile player? Mm-hmm. I mean, back when I played, I was doing 10 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists a game, and that changed my team. For him, same thing. He may not do 40 points a night like Steph, but the facilitation, the leadership, all that stuff. I mean, the Lakers don't have that at all.
I agree. Most teams in the league don't have a point forward like that.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is, modern day players seem to do more kicking it with each other, hanging out with each other.
Don't get me started, FD. I'm going to say it. Don't.
What is that? When I look at this picture, I'm like, what? So what's up? Like, you didn't see Michael Jordan hanging out with Magic and Larry Bird?
Exactly what I think. I mean, Steph Curry even said on the record he will never play on a team with LeBron. I mean, he said it on record. I think the NBA is like a little soft. Obviously, these guys are more incredible of an athlete than I'll ever be, right? Whatever. But even me, I played professional volleyball. I was on the USA team. That's why I have this. Like, I was never kicking it with buddies that I was rivals against, even on my team. Even on my team, I was out for blood every game, going for people's necks. And then you became best friends after it's all said and done. You know what I mean? Whew. I would never. You couldn't catch me dead out there.
It's just interesting to me. Maybe some people say, well, I may be too old school, but I can't even remember playing in high school against some people I went to elementary school with, and playing in college against some people that you knew, and like, we're not kicking it.
Nope.
There's none of that. Even after the game, we may shake hands, talk a little bit about the game, but that's about it. I just think, maybe people say that players today are more business-minded people. I can get that. It's just something to me. It's still
I understand
about the rigor of sport that just doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Jordan. I mean, I can't even think to the last time I saw somebody like Michael Jordan on that court besides Kobe Bryant. I mean, that's it. I can't. Shaq absolutely destroyed everybody. That's all I can think of. Even Shaq, I remember. I still even think his cards are a great play. I mean, people don't even talk about him. I think he's one of the best cards you can get in terms of flippability and also profitability. So he's the best center I think ever, most dominant ever. I mean, how could you not want to get his cards?
I have a 92 Shaq rookie card that has a pop of like 120. The card went up to I think almost $2,000 during the boom. Came back down, and I still don't understand why that card is not more well sought after. It still blows my mind.
Yeah, when I first started, that was the biggest thing that got me kind of into that scalable mode. Was like I was able to get PSA 9s, 10s, Shaqs, and just wait 3 months, flip them. Wait 3 months, flip them. Obviously, you got to wait a little longer now, but even now, that's why I think too. For anyone that's watching, I think if you really get your hands on stuff that people don't know about, Obsidian basketball, Obsidian football, no one's talking about it. I was even looking, I was like, man, they got gold refractors. They got all these rare inserts. They got all this stuff. And the cards are for pennies. What are people doing? And then when you go look at the pop reports, they're low. Like, what are you people doing?
Let me ask you another question. Eminence. $35,000 a box, right?
Crazy too high.
But RPAs out of that of certain players, flawless and national treasures, individual cards at the same grade, price more in the market than a card out of an Eminence box that's $35,000.
That's what I'm saying. It's a hype train. I mean, the stuff that should be valued, right? Immaculate, eminent, those are the stuff that's actually valuable, right? Even Mac Jones, like I'm not going to be hard on him. I think Mac Jones is the only one out of them that's going to make it out.
What do I?
I think that's a guy that I'm like, you may pay a premium for him.
For me, it's bigger than him. It's the system he's in.
Yep.
And
I think Belichick's going to make him Brady Jr.
That's right. His coach is going to ask him to do things that he's good at. If people go back when Brady took over for Bledsoe, and Bledsoe got hurt and Brady came in, Brady wasn't throwing for 300 yards a game. He was in that system.
Paced himself,
throwing for maybe 14 attempts a game for $180, 210, no interceptions. That's how he played the game.
Absolutely. And then he would say, I remember I saw an interview, he told himself, he was like, this game I'm going to get 220, and then next game I'm going to try to get 50 yards more. And then remember when Brady was going on streaks of 350 yards a game during his time with the Patriots, where they were winning. It was him versus Peyton all the time. I mean, you go back to those games. I mean, those were some of the best games I've ever watched when I was growing up. Him versus Peyton. Those were two of the best ever. That's true best ever. True best ever. Not this hype stuff. So
Sugar says no error cards. No error cards are nice.
Those are nice too.
Very nice. Is the Jordan Star card buzz real? Is it here to stay or just a fad?
I think it's real now because the PSA is grading them. I mean, that's a true rookie card in my opinion. Just because it's not Fleer don't mean it's not a good card.
Well, I can say this. You're not going to have a 10. You're going to have lower grades. That PSA 8 that Jeff Wilson picked up for $100,000, it's probably worth more than $100,000. And he knows that just off principle. Those cards are going to become more and more popular amongst collectors, people in the hobby. People try to say, oh, well, the picture on the front, he's grabbing a rebound. It's not the Michael Jordan pose. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the person that's talking that doesn't have that card in their hand.
Yep, I agree. 100%. 100%.
Great card to me. Rick says Montana better than Peyton all day.
I agree.
I've never had that comparison, but I don't even think that's a question.
Yeah, I mean, if you were going to talk about pure greatness, Montana changed the game. I mean, even if Peyton had Marvin Harrison, Jerry Rice, and Montana, all those guys, I mean, you can't even compare. You can't even compare.
Let's see. There's another good comment here about, I think, LeBron. LeBron should have retired 4 years ago.
Yeah, Money Mike's back. I like Money Mike. I think so too. I mean, I don't really think he should have retired, but I think that he ruined AD's career because I don't know. I just feel like that duo is not good at all. I mean,
hold on. Do you think he ruined AD's career, or did AD ruin AD's career?
I mean, you could say both, I think. I think AD was used to being the guy on his team. He couldn't go second place. LeBron will never go second fiddle.
Never.
Causes
He'll trade
the
a guy. He'll trade a guy if a guy shoots too much.
Yeah. I mean, I bet you $10 and, later down the line, it's going to come out that LeBron was like a secret GM on these teams. I mean, for sure. For sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can see in the game. Remember when the Lakers signed Isaiah Thomas?
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah Thomas comes in to shoot, right? And you can see LeBron just looking at him. Now, this guy's not going to be around here too long. Keep shooting the ball.
Yep.
This is not happening. And then I think there was one game where Isaiah Thomas had like 22, 24 points. That's not happening. You can see DeAndre Jordan when he was with the Lakers. He threw an errant pass. You saw LeBron look at him. Week later, less than a week, DeAndre Jordan's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think LeBron runs the show. He picked Ham. He picks his coaches. He'll fire his coaches. And he makes sure that he has certain talent around the team that is good at what he's not. He's going to have some guys out there shooting the three.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what they do this year. I think Golden State's going to whoop on everybody. I think Curry's just getting started.
How many you see Curry retiring with? How many championships?
I think 5.
I'll say 6. So we're in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, I think yeah. If he gets let's say Draymond leaves, they're gonna have to replace Draymond. Mm-hmm. Curry may even leave. You never know.
That would be interesting if Curry did leave.
I think he'd be a bigger villain than LeBron when he left for the Heat back in the day.
That's a perspective I have not thought about. If Curry did leave. Everybody always thinks that he's going to just retire there. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Will says, going to disagree with the star Jordan. Card is busy and not a good shot. There is no antiseptic appeal there. Will, let's just chart this.
I can see, chart it.
I think
I can see what he means.
Different in a year, 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I personally knew about the Star Jordan, but I mean, it's just now coming about, and I still don't even hardly hear anything about it. I mean, Jeff's pickup was around for like a day, and then people just aren't talking about it anymore.
I agree. Yep, that did kind of fade off. A few of the other Star Jordans have great pictures. I wonder if the buzz falls to other Star Jordan cards too, or just the one-on-one that Jeff purchased.
I think it will. It's just like, like I just said, it's just like these other sets. When you have series of cards that you can get in a line and say, oh, I have the set of this, card number 1, 4, 5, 10, whatever. And, they're all Star Jordans in different, actionable pictures and stuff. People will buy that for a premium.
Yes, they will. And there's definitely going to be a halo effect. When a one-on-one gets too expensive, what are people going?
Yep. And I think, and that's any set. Like, that's what I was saying. I mean, I'm not a, big modern guy, but like I said, with Select, I think Select when, is above Prism, but people don't even look towards it because Prism is in the main light, it's in the limelight. Obsidian is a newer set, but like, I'm going to keep talking about it. I've never seen cards that are that hard to grade in terms of die cuts, that many variations, serial numbers. Mm-hmm. I mean, and you got red, you got purple, you got green, you got gold, you got all these amazing cards that look great in a graded case. It just baffles me.
What do you think of Flux?
I think the card appeal is awesome, but I think it's underrated because it's not in the limelight. I mean, that's the biggest powerful thing. If a celebrity isn't talking about it, or a huge influencer on YouTube ain't saying get Flux, no one's gonna get Flux.
That's true.
It's just gonna be another set that people break, So And then, it just goes down to what you like. Like everyone in your audience is saying about, oh, I like this, I like that, I like this. That's good. You want to just stay to what you like. At the end of the day, it's going to be worth something if you're playing your cards right a little bit, even if you like it.
Car Vibe says, "Do you grade only with SGC? How are the margins?"
I know with Pokemon the margins are incredible, to be honest. But I've only noticed with sports cards, like the sets that I'm talking about, rare inserts for Select, Obsidian is usually like $40. Obviously, minimum to $120 for like the raw cards in great shape. It's $23, all in if you want it back in 10 to 15 days. I saw that people are getting their cards back in a week. And the profit, if you're getting a 9 and through a 10, I mean, you're looking at anywhere from $150 to $200 margin. Pretty crazy, in my opinion.
Well, you hear from their leadership on a regular basis talking about throughput and logistics on a regular basis. Like they're not leaving anything to your imagination. They're going to tell you what's going to happen, and they're going to give you dates that they're going to surpass. So they tell you it's going to be X amount, 30 days. You're going to get that car well before 30 days.
Yep. And that's the thing too, is I think SGC is another hot take. I think SGC, believe it or not, has the chance to come very close to PSA card value. I think they've shown what true grading can look like, true organization, and accurate. How accurate they are. I was looking at a bunch of 10s, right? From like really good cards, high value cards. I mean, only 1 out of 100 cards that I looked at had that wasn't the right grade. It may have been off by a 0.5 margin. I mean, that's pretty accurate. And when they make a mistake, they've owned up.
They do.
So PSA don't do that. Obviously the values in PSA cards, but I think if even now you have a chance to literally set yourself up, if you get these hot cards right now in SGC, I think they're gonna steamroll soon, very very soon.
So Nat Turner said the other day in an interview with Jeff Wilson at the National, it premiered, that they're going to come with a lower price point for those who collect sets and have bulk cards that they want to submit. Now that price, they had a kind of a sale on through July 31st for $18 per card. But let's say that price is $20 a card or $20-something or $22 a card. How do you think that's going to affect? Because I think it's going to greatly affect who's sending cards to CSG and SGC. Like, how do you think that?
Yeah, I think you're right. But I mean, at the end of the day, I just think people are scarred in the fact that they have to wait a year for their cards. And I don't think PSA is, even with their 2 facilities now, they have an East Coast facility, West Coast facility. The only way they're going to make this work is if they break up everyone on the East Coast, they only go to the East Coast facility. Everyone on the West Coast, they go to the West Coast facility. But it's not going to happen that way. And I think no matter what, they're popular enough, but they're not meeting the demand of the people, right? Like I have cards here that if I would send them in PSA, they'd be worth anywhere from $700 to $1,500 cards. But that's right now. If I would send these in to PSA, I wouldn't get them back for 10 months.
And so that time frame leaves a crack in the door for some competition to step in to alleviate the logistical issues, right?
And I think SGC has done that. And BGS, same thing. I would only ever buy their cards raw, graded in their slabs. If I want my card back and I want someone that I trust, I'm going to SGC now. They've been nothing but good to me. I mean, I've sent in 20, 30 card submissions, no errors, no rejection. And even let's say like if you send in a card, right, and you put in like, let's say the wrong subtitle or variation, they'll fix it for you and they won't charge you a fee. PSA charges you a fee. All these other guys charge you a fee because it makes them do extra work, or they'll reject your card. Even those little details matter. Yeah, those little details matter.
What kind of fee is associated with that?
I think it's like a $15 fee, and they charge it on your bill, and they don't even tell you. One of my buddies that I actually coach in my program, he sent in the Curry rookie, the tops one. He sent in 2, right? So he had like something where he thought it was an error card or whatever. He sent it in and said, "Can you just check?" Right? They didn't even grade the card. They sent it back, charged him anyway. And then the other one they graded and it came back like an 8 or something like that, which was like the base Topps Chrome card. Really, it was really weird because I've never seen something like that.
Man, that's interesting.
CSG or whatever does that too. So because they do it for it's crazy. It's great. It's a money game at the end. People are just trying to get up quarters at this point.
So Beckett has a new CEO. They attempted
looking good.
Yeah, they attempted to show a new logo. That got slammed. Then they pulled it back and said, "Hey, we're just putting out a little like market research to get some feedback." Even though their whole booth at the National was covered with that. It's going to be. I just really want to see. I'm very interested. What is Beckett about to do?
I think they're gonna fall down the cracks. They're not meeting the demand of the people. They're not providing great turnaround times. It's still 6 to 8 months to wait for a card. So
yeah, I'm with you. I think if you can't meet the demand of what people are sending in, and prices are changing greatly on cars, by the time you get your card back, and if that's affecting you doing a deal at a show, a trade, or anything, like this is what card people do. If you're not meeting that, that's why I tell people years from now, you don't know who's going to be the top grading company in the world, because that leaves a lot to people's minds. What do I want to do? Where do I want to put my card? I got a show in a month. I want to set up. I want to put a table up. Am I going to get my stuff back?
Nope, you're not gonna. Unless you pay a ridiculously amount of money. I mean, PSA still, the only way you're getting a card back, $300 express. I'm not doing that. Even if it was $1,000 card, I'm not doing that, because then I'm all in on $1,000. I'm all in on another 3. That means I'm all in 14. Then you're charging for my time. I'm wasted. Even if I'm waiting a month for the card to come back, that's a lot of time. If you want to do time per dollar, I mean, a lot of time that I'm all in. And then let's say the card comes back a 7. All right, you just lost $1,000 because PSA's grading is getting tougher. Have you seen that too? The reports going around, which is good because it's eliminating the crap. But still, it's like you don't know what's going to come back.
Beckett's stuck in the past. They're like a company that refuses to modernize. They're burning out equity in that name. Beckett just doesn't seem to care. It's like the Hobbies versions of Brewster's Millions. That used to be one of my favorite movies. Beckett is dead in the water. They're probably 4th place now. And these are 3 consecutive comments. This is what people think.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Crazy.
What do you think of Spectra?
I love it. I love it. I'm actually looking at a Patrick Mahomes PSA 10 number to 5. I think it was like 2020, 2019 or something like that. No, 2021. Sweet looking card. I'm like a huge fan of like neon green, and the neon green variations are rare. They're some of the rarest in Panini Select, Prism, Spectra, all this stuff. But people are like, no, I don't know. Got to look at this stuff. The variations matter. So I love Spectra.
What do you think the love is, the passion for gold cards?
I mean, I love it. Black and gold, that's like my brand logo. I just think the reason why it's like an elite status. If you have that card, it's just that's what you think of.
That's what I think too. And it looks like a little metal in a slab,
Yeah. Especially like an SGC case, that blacked out murdered case. Yeah. All you see is the gold. I mean, awesome.
Will says aesthetically, the BGS slabs are best. Customer service different combo. Yeah, but years ago I used to love the BGS slab.
I like them,
but I've paid attention to what's going on in the market, what the value's looking like. BGS slabs look a lot better than PSA. PSA has done some things to make sure that the slabs look. We were at a show this weekend, and I showed my son a slab from probably 20 years ago of what PSA looked like, with the paper up front, no hologram. You had a number on the front, but no way to look up that card, green back. That seems like years ago, but that's where it was, and that's when stuff was getting forged.
Yep,
that's what it was. So, what are your predictions for the NFL season coming up? What do you think Tampa Bay's going to do?
I've seen Brady have a chip on his shoulder, and I think he's going to steamroll everybody. Okay. Everyone was trying to like put him down in like preseason clips of him like missing throws and stuff like that, but it was like 1 out of every 20 throws he's missing. I think he's locked in, and they just gave him a big break till August 20th. He don't even got to come to the preseason stuff. I think he's gonna come in fresh. If they have a bad regular season, I still think they're gonna go really, really far. I think he is done after this year, though.
I think
that's why. Yeah, I think that's why now you really gotta get these older cards, and then the modern cards. Like I said, get those numbered cards, and just get them graded and hold and see.
I thought them letting Brady take this break was one of the smartest moves I've seen from an organization in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got a chance to see his kids go to school. Just think about the basic things that he's able to be a part of during his last season and still connect with his family. I think it's one of the smartest moves I've seen. When I first saw that was announced, I was like, man, these guys are going far.
Yeah, he's going to come back fresh. They've gotten some weapons too. I saw that was Julio Jones, right? They picked him up.
Julio Jones.
I mean, looking like a monster. I mean, just a monster.
Yeah.
And
I believe, TJ, that he was working with Brady's people months ago.
Me too.
On his body, getting his issues together with soft tissue injuries. I think he's been working on that, working on his diet. He's probably been working on that for months.
I mean, yeah, and he looked like a man amongst the boys. I mean, just like he used to be. Just so I think
Julio, people don't know he can run a route at his height and his size as if he's probably about 4 or 5 inches shorter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes him so phenomenal. His foot speed, his hip movement. Because as a wide receiver, it's all about your hips and your feet. If your hips are going in one direction and can redirect and go here on the drop of a hat, then you're going to be something special. And at his size, he can do that. And I always go back to the Super Bowl where the Patriots beat the Falcons. And that tiptoe catch that Julio called on the sidelines is just indicative of how he does his thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, some people are just, like I said, a man amongst boys, and they have like that special generational talent that you just don't see. I think he's one of them. Everyone's got their issues, but it's how you overcome them, come back, prove people wrong. And he's going to do that. I think that was a phenomenal pickup now that like Antonio Brown's kind of out of the picture. I think that was what they needed, and they got a better player.
And you got to think you got him on one side, Mike Evans on the other side.
Yeah.
Wow. Thanks, Flo. You said FD. You're high on Julio always. I bought a Julio card last year at the National. I have a Julio Jones Falcons jersey, gold kaboom, PSA 9. Buy it from it. Send me a picture of it. Let me know the price you're talking about. We can talk about it.
I would keep that and hold it till the trade deadline and then sell it.
That's what I would do too. Trigger, I feel bad for Bears fans always sucking. Actually, I have a Bears fleece on right here. So the Bears are probably not going to be good this year. I've come to grips with that.
Yeah, and everyone's investing crazy in Justin Fields. They're going to be sorry, even how good he is. He is a good player. He's extremely raw. I mean, and you don't have the offensive line really. You have no wide receivers.
Right.
Defense is okay, but I mean, as long as Rodgers is in the NFC, I think they're gonna just murder him up and down. I mean, they're gonna be in last place. I think the Lions are gonna surprise a lot of people. Dan Campbell has revolutionized that place. I think they're gonna be number 2 this year.
Did you see his speech the other day in practice?
Awesome. Those are the coaches you need.
That got me hyped. I think people are buying in. Those Lions helmets are buying into what he's talking about, what he's preaching. But 85 was a special year. I tell people all the time, the Bears stumbled upon that. They had players that were lower-rated players from their draft, and those players just showed up. You're talking about Otis Wilson, Wilbur Marshall. Mike Singletary could have never done what he did without Otis Wilson and Wilbur Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
The timing when they played that 6-1 defense, you can't play that now. The Miami Dolphins that year showed that you can't play that in modern-day football. William Perry, just the players they had all came together on a mission to do something. People fail to realize the 86 Bears went 14-2.
Yep, they did.
Nobody talks about that. And they lost to the Giants, who went on to win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they could have went back-to-back. That's the kind of talent they had on that team. Then they started breaking it up. People wanted to get paid after the Super Bowl ring, go different places. But that team, to me, is just the epitome of drafting guys who have a heart and want to get something done. Golden State is almost like that. Well, you saw modern-day teams don't build championships off of a draft. That may help them. But you got a team like Golden State that all the players that you really talk about came through that draft.
Yep. No, that's funny. I think Klay Thompson is extremely underrated. His cards too.
So do I.
That's somebody I'm really high on him. I think he has incredible work ethic. He's deserved every championship he's ever got. I am looking at a ton of his cards too right now. And
TJ, you and I both gonna be looking together because I check Klay out almost every day.
Yep. I think if you can get some rookies and second-year cards, but also the rare, like I said, inserts and variations inside Select, Obsidian, modern sets like that, they're going to be a happy camper come sell day.
And it's funny how people just walked away from Klay.
Well, they give up on people when they're down, and that's the thing, can you ride through? It's just like I talk about on my channel, I talk about sports cards and stock market, principles, how they really relate. You got to be able to be confident in the lows, buying in the dips, selling in the highs, going through that turbulent, kind of, water sometimes when a player gets injured that you have a lot of, or he doesn't have a good season. What are you going to do when times get tough? Most people just sell and quit. No one's really holding out for the long term unless it's like a Trout or those guys. So
now let's talk about Trout, right? So Trout, they announced that he has a back injury. I believe this is the back injury that's going to end up leading to the end of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Probably in about 7 years. I think his career is going to end a lot earlier than people wanted it to. I hope Trout hits 500 home runs. His career could end, doesn't hit 500 home runs. So the question becomes, where is he at all time when it comes to his standing, his position all time, when you talk about him 20 years from now? And then where is he at when it comes to Hall of Fame status? If Trout retired today, TJ, is he a Hall of Famer?
Statistically, I think so, but it's one of those things, he has the fan base around him. He's got the player support. I think people like him. He's a good teammate. He's obviously, I just think championships are going to come into play. He ain't Jeter. I mean, if you're going to talk about investing in somebody, Derek Jeter is the guy, in my opinion. But if you're just talking about straight up, maybe let's say if his cards go up and down, I think he'll get into the Hall of Fame by a hair, because just
think about that. Just think about how sports can go. You can be dominating 5-2 player, and then something happens where,
an injury could ruin your whole entire thing. But like I said, it's going to be by a hair. I would not be surprised if he doesn't get in. I think it would be the craziest thing ever, though, in terms of a player that popular not getting in, but I think it would come down to championships. I just think it's going to come down to championships. But he may get in because he didn't take steroids, and you know where I'm going with this. So you can lead right onto that one.
So Big Papi takes roids, right? He gets into the Hall of Fame, right?
Oh,
Big
my
Papi
God.
played the game. Big Papi went to the studio, commentated some games, laughed and joked between Frank Thomas and Alex Rodriguez.
Guys who took it.
Built a better name for himself, got into the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other players who have never failed the test.
Yeah, never.
That won't be there.
Nope. So the thing is like, I still consider, Tatis kind of that ultra modern card, right? That's why I said you really got to be careful. I mean, he's got such an impact on the baseball market, and I think he's where everyone is putting their money. And I think,
would you hold his card? Do you have Tatis?
Heck no. I have no baseball cards for this very reason. I think there's way too much risk. The only person I would ever get is Derek Jeter. And the only people I would get is vintage baseball. I'm a huge Roberto Clemente fan. Derek Jeter, I would never get like Mark McGwire, obviously, or any of those guys. You know, if I'm ever lucky to get like a Babe Ruth or a Mickey Mantle card, you know, great, I would get it. But these ultra modern cards, the only person right now that I would get is Trout, to be honest with you. Derek Jeter, he's a legend. That's it. I mean, baseball has the most risk, in my opinion, out of any investment because so much stuff can happen, you know.
Like we went to a show at the beginning of the season. This was like a week or two before the season started. Everybody's talking about Wander Franco. Everybody's talking about Wander. And then before you know it, that switches to Julio Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Like nobody was really talking about Julio Rodriguez at the beginning of the season. I went to table. Nobody's really talking about that. Wander gets hit in the hand. I think fractures his hand. He's out.
Done.
He was batting .260. He only had 5 home runs. Was not having a good season. And we all know the numbers of baseball. That if you can hit the slider, we're gonna start throwing you fastballs. You can hit the fastball. We're gonna throw you something else to see what can you do.
Yep.
Only the exceptional and great players can keep rebuilding themselves or rejuvenate themselves to hit that pitch, work on that that defensive play they need to make. It's only a few people that's going to do that. Like we know, I was buying Steph Curry cards, and I started looking at baseball. I'm like, man, this is like I might as well go to Vegas.
Yeah. Yep. There's too much gambling in baseball, in my opinion. I think, you know, when it comes down to it, baseball is the only. I think baseball and football is the only place where people literally just pick somebody, try to get as many people to follow, and then it becomes a thing. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Just like football, we talk about all these quarterbacks. There's never been this much hype around first and second year players who are losers. They have a losing record. When you talk about Jets, Jaguars, Broncos, you know, when they obviously traded away Drew Lock and everything. I've never seen anything like it. I think people are just making up stuff just to have something to talk about and something to invest in instead of sticking with what works.
Well, you got to okay. So this is how this kind of went down, right? Modern basketball went down. Modern basketball was way up. Modern basketball went down. Football season's coming.
Yep.
So then we started talking about some people that people don't really know about and see what can happen there. There's a comment here. Rick says OSU quarterbacks never work out. People said the same thing about Wisconsin quarterbacks before Russell Wilson came out. I think it's all about who they recruit to play that position. But we still don't know about Fields because Money Mike says Fields looked horrible last week. But Fields is a player right now that's going to continue to run for his life. So you can't get better at the quarterback position if you can't complete a pass or hand the ball off to the running back or do anything like that without somebody disrupting your play. Then now you only get better in practice, and that just doesn't work like that.
Yep, absolutely.
Dexville says Julio Jones and Calvin Johnson, most dominating wide receivers I've seen in their primes. What about Randy Moss?
Yeah, Randy Moss. I mean, I was a Packers fan when he had Culpepper, and he would light us up. I mean,
light it up, bro.
I mean, we're talking 250 back then, you know, yards before it became more common now.
And I love when he got Randall Cunningham his rookie season.
Yeah.
Hey, Dexville, don't sleep on Randy,
man. 100%.
Randy's something special. We talking about Burrow. People talking about Burrow. Burrow also went to OSU. Yes, he did. People forget that. Dexville says, FD, what's a better select parallel? True gold or zebra?
Gold.
Okay, gold. Zebra's
the eye of deal.
But yeah, gold is running a hobby right now.
Yeah. And then that's another thing. Like if you want not a knockoff version, but Obsidian has amazing yellow gold inserts that are numbered to like 5, 10, 25. Check those out. Die cuts. Check it out.
They do. Yeah, Obsidian's a good card. I would say, this is what I always say, put the work in. Get on eBay and browse around.
Yeah.
Go on there not thinking about buying anything. Just put some work in on what are you seeing, and then check those prices against other stuff. And then some things start becoming very apparent to you of what's going on out here. If you have a show close to you, go walk that show. Use that knowledge you picked up on eBay at that show. Look around a little bit, see what people have. Do prices matching up? Sometimes you'll see some trends on eBay that you don't see live in person. But the person on eBay is not paying for a table. They may not have a store. There may be other things that's going on that are affecting those prices in person. Person's also getting paid for their time. You're sitting at a table. If anybody's ever sat behind a table, I've done it once or twice. It's a different position to be in. Like, you're not walking around the show. You're sitting at your table. People are coming to you. Hopefully you're interacting with them. There's like a level of responsibility there that's not easy. If you think it's easy, then sit behind the table for about 5 hours.
Yeah.
Price your cars accordingly before you get there. Sit behind that table, set your cars up. That's not easy. So.
Oh, yeah.
Sin City, thank you for being here. I always appreciate you being here. So did you hear today, you remember Marion Jones ran track? She got busted for steroids, stripped of all her medals.
Oh, yeah.
Her husband passed away today.
Oh, wow. That's sad.
52 years old. Now, there was some belief, don't know if this is true or not, that he was the person that he was throwing shot put in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
And that he was the person that kind of got her on the road of taking stuff.
No.
That's never been proven. But it was just sad to me to see that. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of him, that he passed away today. Because I remember when he was throwing shot put, because I just got out of high school throwing shot, and he was a phenomenal athlete. Let's see if you can see this. That's Marion Jones and her, and her husband.
Oh, yeah. That's sad.
Very sad. Just wanted to give him some homage today. C.J. Hunter. Mm-hmm. He was some kind of an athlete himself. He was also like quasi her trainer. But I want to pay him some respect today.
Yeah.
Tal is that trigger finger. You seem to have the same sports acumen as sports car radio. Doom and gloom. That's not good.
Okay.
Exact trigger finger. Huh? Oh, wow. Quarterback talent gauge and sports cars anonymous. Wow, they're going at it. We're mentioning sports cars now. Dakota, what's up? That's interesting. So, do you have any other predictions for our basketball? No, we have a lot of players coming back that didn't participate last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think right now it's just gonna. Even summer league, I think the Pablo's gonna do really, really well.
Oh,
I think he's real smooth, real nice. He's getting a little cocky, right? I think this rookie class got nobody but him. All right, to be honest,
I would agree with that. I'm not really impressed by the young kid from Clemson.
Nope.
I'm not really impressed by him at all. Chet, I got to see it. I don't believe it.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get bodied. He's too skinny.
Yeah, they're gonna work him.
Yeah, and I said that to someone. They're like, "No way, man! He's gonna be a future." I was like, "Okay, we'll see."
I think you got to realize when you get to the NBA, you better be ready to play some defense.
Yeah,
you're not gonna sit out there and then shoot that three. And then what happens when somebody fouls him hard, checks him a little bit?
He's going to have some injury problems. I said he might be Adam Morrison 2.0.
I can see that.
Amazing superstar, right? Gonzaga, boom. And then, whatever. But I think, LeBron has a lot to prove this year. He may not think, but this could be the last year where he's got AD. I think AD might leave too. Or it could be, vice versa, where maybe even LeBron leaves. You never know. Curry, I think they're going to have an amazing year again. I'm a big fan. I'm right now going to be picking up literally just PSA 10 Currys from the Prism era. Early on Select, early on Prism, SGC, PSA. No BGS because they're just right now a loose cannon. But I think the Miami Heat are going to do real well.
I'm planning to do the exact same thing with Curry. I went through about 3 months ago, and I was like, I picked up some Curry cards. Who else am I going to invest in? Who else am I going to buy? And it's just like sometimes I have some thoughts that just pop into my mind. I don't even know where they come from, right? And I thought to myself, why are you trying to push the envelope? But Curry is sitting right here in front of you.
Yeah.
Like if it was
Just gotta
Mike,
do what works.
yeah, if it was Mike Jordan, you wouldn't say, "Oh, I gotta go collect Alonzo Mourning. I gotta go do that." You would stay with Mike Jordan. So why are you doing something different with Curry? And that's what my whole thing changed. Like I said, I had a friend also asked me about Brady, asked me about basketball, and I said Steph Curry. That's exactly who I'm going to look at for the most part all the time.
Yeah, I think too. It's like I think Steph Curry is somebody you should triple down on, especially in the Prism and early Prism, early Select era. If you can't afford his earlier cards, because those cards are extremely sought after, believe it or not. But right now they're a little lower because everyone's so focused on his rookie card. So you gotta be where no one's at. That's why I said finding these better sets that are really aesthetically pleasing. Select, Obsidian. I mean, you can even put in there, Nor looks good, the Flux looks good, whatever it may be. You just got to be early to the sets where people are not at yet, and then you will make a pretty penny, especially if you can buy certain cards up for $5, $10, $20, $30 and then get them graded. You're gonna be a happy camper.
And I think people listen to you talk. They listen to things that I try to talk about and do. And they think, it can't be that. It's not like that. But yeah,
it is.
If TJ is speaking, if you're listening to this right now and you're not, if this hasn't made you think about something, I didn't say change what you're doing, but made you think about something. I'm telling you, he's telling you stuff right now that it took me a little while to do research and look at things and go to shows and talk to people. He's giving you the Cliff Notes right now.
I mean, even these cards right here. I mean, I got Tom Brady right here, bronze refractor, select, numbered to 355. This will get about a 9. I got even Josh Allen right here, a little modern. I think he's going to have a good season. Neon green right there, select. Mahomes, neon green refractor right there. I mean, I got a ton of other ones coming in the mail, and I'm getting these for 10, 20 bucks. No one's talking about it because they're 2020. You know what I'm saying? It's Mahomes' third year, but guess what? They're extremely low print, and you can only get, I think, about 75 of these greens in about, I think, 3-4 like, hobby boxes potential. So it's low. Why wouldn't you go for those cards?
Because it's TJ. That's not what everybody else is talking about.
Yeah, I don't do whatever everyone else does.
I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Money Mike says TJ is a Steve Jobs of the card world.
Shoot, man, if that was true, I would have more YouTube subscribers. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'm not breaking $50,000 boxes from Panini. So
what's up here? So let's talk about this. At the National, there was a box of 86 Fleer Basketball Open.
Oh.
And people are analyzing, not the one that had other cards in it, but that was a box open that people are analyzing it
was fake.
The time life of the gum that is in the box, that is in the packs. The gum looks brand new compared to real gum from 86.
Yeah, and I think the box was fake, honestly. When I sat there and I said, you know what? I said, this is a Logan Paul Pokemon scam again. I said, same guys. Why would you get it authenticated by the same guys who did that to the Pokemon world too? This potentially could ruin the credibility even behind the Jordan rookie card. If you want to really put down to it, I mean, you kind of question whether these grades from PSA are real or not. You kind of question whether these cards are real. And I definitely feel like it's going to impact the card market. And it already is. I noticed the Jordan Flair went down a ton just off that.
Do you think so this is a good question. Do you think that the star card being graded by PSA is going to drive down the 86 Flair?
100%. I think now that it's something new, it's that shiny new car that is just, fresh out into the world. I think that's what's going to happen. If you have these different variations, and what's crazy is I was going to buy these cards in BGS 8s, and I didn't do it back in the day for $300 a pop. Now they're worth they're worth like 25 to 20,000, $2,500 to $20,000 right now within BGS.
But back then, just like anything, right? No one knew the Jordan documentary was going to blow up the 86 foot. That car was kind of sitting for a while, kind of a tick up, but kind of just stagnant for a while before that impulse came in. And then no one knew that I'm sitting on this BGS 7.5 or 7 star card that only BGS is grading, and that all PSA is about to start grading this.
Yeah, I'm going to try and look it up and see if I can get my hands on them, because people may be there are people that may not be in touch with what's going on social media wise, and I may try to get a couple, because I saw people have them up, and I was like, there's one of him dunking, doing a reverse dunk.
Yep.
That's like, and there's like another variation like that, him rebounding, obviously.
Yeah, and the Gatorade one with the green border.
Yep. So, there's still time. But I think it will take over that market, or meet it at the middle. And then you're going to see a pretty healthy competition. It's going to come down to who's got more money, and it's just what it's going to be.
Hey, what do you think of Kuminga and Jordan Poole?
I've already said I think Jordan Poole is going to be a star for years to come. Kuminga, I don't know, but Jordan Poole showed the world, in this finals run.
I think you got to remember that Kuminga is very raw.
Mm-hmm.
You watch summer league games, you can tell he's still working on his jump shot. He said that when he releases, and there's a lot of young players. LeBron was like this when he first came out. When Kuminga releases his jump shot, it's very different almost every time. Mm-hmm. His motion, his everything, the lift on his ball, how far he's jumping off the ground. So he's working on some stuff. We got to give Kuminga some time before we really know
some time.
He is as a player. Jordan Poole, the only thing he needs to do is just slow down a little bit.
Slow down, yeah.
And then everything is going to open up for him. No off the court issues, things like that, just like any other player. But just slow down on the court. And then Golden State can run 1-2 team. They can run an A and a B team.
Yep. And
run people off the court.
I agree.
Because you can't stay up with that physically. If Wiseman and they just got this guy Green, if they're on the second team and you got Looney and all these other guys running with the first team, and you got Poole at point, then you got Steph at point,
going to be a tough team to beat.
That's going to be a problem. Is there anyone other than BBCE to inspect and validate wax? They were the PSA of wax validation before the Logan Paul situation.
Yeah, I think
there's any other entity that I think there probably will be in the future.
I think people are afraid. That's why there's not many of them, because you see what happens. I mean, you mess up. Like, let's say that Fleer box was fake, right? And you mess up twice in about a 4-month span, and on 2 of the biggest products in both communities, you're not as good as you think.
And I also understand that BBCE validates packs that PSA will grade before they grade.
Yep.
So this thing goes beyond just unopened wax boxes. There are packs out here that somebody may be opening and don't know. FD, are you coming to the GTSM show in the Bay Area Labor Day weekend? I am not. But Rick, I've been to quite a few GTSM shows. At one point, that was probably the shows that I went to the most. If people don't know GTSM, they're a family-run show. There is at least 1 or 2 representatives at every signing, even if a GTSM athlete is signing someplace else. There have been some signings here in LA. Well, at least 1 or 2 members of that family is there. They put on excellent shows. I used to go to shows back in 2006, 2008. They used to have shows in San Jose. Now they've kind of moved more up to San Fran and I think the Oakland area. But those are great shows. I would not be at that show Labor Day weekend, but I am open to coming to shows in the future because I love GTSM shows. Hit that like button. Brendan, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I really do.
Yeah, I'm shocked, man. You got some good stuff on here. That's why I love joining and being a part of the show. I mean, I think your show deserves more limelight for sure.
I appreciate that, TJ. We try to put the I guess kind of the hard work in. TJ, just to let you know, years ago, man, probably in my 20s, I've always wanted to do sports talk or hobby talk stuff. Always. So really, we pulled back to Sundays or Mondays, man. At one point, I was doing 4 hours a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
I enjoy it, man. I enjoy talking about stuff about what's going on in the hobby, meeting great people. I would have never met you if I wasn't doing this. There's 7 other people I would have never met. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, you're good at it, man.
Thank you. It's fun to me. And I remember I had a college counselor tell me a long time ago, like, yeah, you should do broadcasting or something. And I was a business major, and I was like, broadcasting. And then years later, you see what other people see, or you start thinking about what other people were telling you when you were younger. And then you can kind of see it. Mm-hmm. But I didn't see that at the time.
What are you doing right now? Do you do this full time? Do you do 9 to 5?
No. I do a 9 to 5. I work. I work at a retail company. I like doing analytics. So I like looking at data. I also
awesome, man.
I also doing like merchandising. So that's like, most people think one way. I try to think both. And so I kind of work on a team that kind of affect how you walk in the store. What are you looking at? What it impulse you to buy? What is sitting? What makes the buying decision
important
for you? So I really important. And then I worked in the past. I worked, excuse me, for more than 10 years in sales. So I enjoy talking to people and meeting and greeting and building relationships with people. And I got blessed with a pretty decent memory. So when I learn stuff about people, it's not just to learn for the conversation. Like, I'm actually interested in that person and I'm learning about them. And I will remember that the next time we have a conversation, or as we build and grow our relationship, I'll remember things about people that I'm talking to, because I actually do care.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like it.
Yes, sir. Grateful to Dak for bringing you on his channel. Yeah, Dakota and Dustin. I always tip my hat to them, because these were 2 people who brought me on the channel. I don't know if he had 100 subscribers. And let me be on their lives and talk. And we were already planning here to do more lives and get into this format. And I think those 2 individuals, I always want to give them a big shout out, because they opened the door for me to come on and start talking to people. And I always appreciate that. Dakota, if you're listening, Dustin, if you're listening, you both get much respect from me, because sometimes people open the door I try to do that same thing with people. Sometimes people open the door for folks and they don't have to, but they wanted to. So I appreciate it.
I agree.
Kobe's auto is so inconsistent. Now, we got to remember, Triggerfinger, is that Kobe came in at 17, 18 years old. His autograph changed over time.
Mm-hmm.
He went from Kobe to Kobe 8 to Kobe Bryant. Then he started to look like he put more emphasis on the Bryant when he was writing his name. It just changed over time. And so you just about know, if you study his autograph, if you see a Kobe autograph on something and it's not authenticated, if it's real or not, you can look at certain things. He definitely has a slant to his K in Kobe. If you don't see that, you got a problem. His O, his B, his E looks different. But even if it is authenticated, you kind of know what time frame Kobe wrote that. Yeah.
Yep.
That's how it is. Hey, what's up, Tanya? LH Formula One cars. Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate you. Great show, FT. Always a class act. I appreciate it. I really do. And you know, I would TJ, I want to tell you, man, I really appreciate you. Appreciate you getting a word today that I wanted to have you on and being here. I appreciate that. You don't know how much.
Yeah.
I don't forget those things. Those things I remember. If there was a situation where you said, hey, FD, you want to roll, and you told me, man, within an hour, I'm pretty much there throughout the week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love coming on your show. Yeah. So I try to make it work if people reach out. I mean, I get a bunch of collaboration kind of things all the time, but I don't pick up on everyone, because a lot of people are just in it to, either, get my subscribers or mute my community, right? That. So I know you're genuine. So that's why, of course, I love talking it up and talking with everyone here. It's awesome. So I'm glad I was able to come on.
Tanya also says, also gave TJ a follow. Also great insight. TJ has wisdom, people. And he breaks it down in a way that is anyone can kind of understand what he's talking about. And if you then go back and put in research, you will understand exactly what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was saying I'm coming up here eventually. I'm really trying to take my YouTube content to the next level. If you guys see my new videos, you can see I'm really breaking down more of the business side of things, like how to crush it on eBay, how to start your own sports card business, because you still can. But also now I'm going to have a ton of videos coming up on my actual market research, showing you guys basically live. Obviously, it's a video, but you'll see like my thought process going into buying the cards that I buy on eBay when I have the budget to do so. So,
more recently, you put out $100 challenge, right?
Yep. So I went to my local card shop with $100 and just saw what I could get, and figure out, whether it was the modern, whether it was vintage baseball, whatever. And you can do a lot with $100 now. Before, maybe a year ago, you couldn't do much with $100. But if you go in, you could take 2 cards, let's say $50 a piece. You could take that $100 and make it over $500, $600. Because a lot of guys right now are getting rid of really rare cards that are ungraded for cheap, just to move bulk, and keep sales and stuff going in. So I was able to get, like I said, a ton of these raw cards here, Brady's, Patrick Mahomes, patch serial numbers, tons of selects that like I showed. So I'm going to take all these. I have a couple more coming in over the week, with Select and Obsidian. I'm going to be buying a bunch of that. So then I'll be sending them in, and then I'm going to do a video and show you guys the results. So,
and also keep in mind too, like what TJ is talking about, there have been people out here with great cards that have been holding the cards because they didn't want to send them to PSA and have them sit there for X amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Or send them to some of these other grading companies and have them sit there for X amount of time. So now the market is dipped. People are getting rid of cards that are grade worthy and have been. And this is what they're talking about, for really nothing.
So it's like, the low hanging fruit is what it's called. If you can be patient enough and wait for these dips and be, and capitalize and really go after it, you're going to, it's just like a business, right? If you know when to buy, and you know when to sell inside your sports cards kind of portfolio, and you can time the market pretty well, based on the seasons of NFL, NBA, all that stuff. And that's what I really try to tell people is like anyone can do it with any budget. You really can. You don't have to be like a millionaire like these guys out here slinging around $100,000 per card to make it and be a somebody in this hobby. And especially if you do social media, you can provide the impact with a $70 card or a $20 card and show people the way that way. So that's what I try to do.
I'm gonna give a shout out to someone that I think highly of. His name is Tim. His Instagram is Prevail Cards. He's here in LA. We were at a premiere show, and I pointed out to him there was a $20,000 Luka card sitting at a table. And I said, Tim, that card over there is $20,000. Tim turns to me. He's a very genuine person, man. I've even learned a lot from him just watching him. He turned to me and he said, I'll keep doing what I'm doing and work my way up. And one day, if I decide to buy that card, I'll buy that card.
Yep.
And I think if more people took that mindset to how they approach the hobby, I love giving people a shout out. I'll give Tim a shout out because he's a good person. Good to me, good for the hobby. He tries to educate people on things. He'll walk people through stuff. I've watched him in shows do it. But just that mindset, and I think that's what we need to see more of, is that mindset of working your way, just like anything else in life. This is no different, right? We just don't get out of college and walk up and buy a $600,000 home.
Mm-hmm.
If you work your way up through life or through this hobby, if you, like he said at the end, if he decides to do that, then that's something that he might want to do. But as you work your way up, take honor in the fact that you're working your way up to something. I look at cars sometimes that I may purchase now, and I tell G, my son, when he's with me, like, I never would have thought I'd purchase that car. And I don't even care what dollar amount. Anything over $150, TJ, I'm always blown away that I'm even purchasing that car.
Oh, 100%. I mean, a little piece of cardboard, I was, telling somebody the other day, is like, I never would have thought a little piece of cardboard would change my life the way it has the last 4 years. Nobody could have thought of that. And like, even when you're sitting there, I've done the thing where I've bought $1,000 cards. I've done that. That's cool. I've mastered that art of that whole thing. And Now I'm doing something where I'm just strictly doing a new venture, right? Going raw, right? Buying up raw cards and trying to get them graded and see what happens, and, everyone's on a different journey. And if you take pride and honor in your journey, even if you have $1 in your bank account or 10,000, you're going to appreciate that and make it further than the guy who's just in it for the money.
Sure. And be prepared. You may walk in a show where your mindset may not be anybody else in that room. Be okay with that. Don't have a problem with that. Be
100%.
yourself. Triggerfinger says the hobby isn't a patience man's game or woman's game after the past 2 years, but the approach pays off now.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Ham, appreciate you, brother. Great info, guys. Thank you very much. Michael says, Trigger, the benefit now is there are hard dips you can buy. And please believe that. Please.
There are.
DJ is letting you know that he's buying. I'm also buying. My strategy really hasn't changed because it's been the same strategy even when prices were up. There are things that I'm looking at that prices were not up on. People were not talking about. That's just how it is. Mike Jr., what up, FD? Finally caught you on a live. Crazy. I appreciate all you do, my guy. Thank you very much, Mike. I remember not having the money to buy auction packed or pinnacle action pack. Excuse me. I remember that as well. I'll tell this story. I wish I had the card in front of me. I just took a card to get cleaned this weekend. It is a Joe Montana rookie card. And I'll tell this story because I think it's on the plane of what we're talking about. My sophomore year of college, I went to the card store where my university was, and I saw a Joe Montana rookie card in a screw-down holder. Car was priced at $600. I didn't have $600. And so I paid for that card throughout the entire year. $15 here, $20 there, $30 here, until I paid that card off. I still have that card now. We just took it. My son and I just took it this weekend to get clean. Now, the card may be a PSA 7. It's got some chipping that year. It's got some chipping along the sides. The surface looks great. Some chipping along. I'm still enthusiastic about that card. Then when I heard
because you earned it.
Because when I heard it was a PSA 7, it didn't make me drop my head because it's not higher than that. So I just say that to say that there are stories that you're going to tell as you collect, as you're engaged and involved in the hobby. If you put that on the table, people might walk by and not think anything of it. But that card to me has a story. It'll be with me. It'll be in a collection. My children will look at it later. I'll tell them the story when I'm an old guy sitting in a corner in a rocking chair. But that was the biggest card at that time by far that I had ever purchased. And I was so appreciative that the owner of the car shop said, well, I came in like 3 or 4 times, CJ, just looking at the card. Just look. And he said finally, you can pay on this card periodically. You don't have to pay for it all at one time. And that changed a lot. That was the first time I took that step for something that big, and I was appreciative of that.
Yeah, I think now, I don't know how people roll, but like even if Klarna, has anyone heard of Klarna? I don't know if you know what Klarna is. So you can like buy something and pay in 4 installments.
Oh, okay.
So eBay actually brought them on as a partner. So you can actually pay for sports cards in 4 installments now. So if you have a $120 card, you can break it up into 4 payments, make it more budget friendly, and do it that way too. So that's going to open up a ton of more buying as well for people who need to do that, So just like, going off your story, I think now people are understanding that you can now get your cards and pay as you go. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to change the game.
Yep.
We got Rick here. I always loved Ernie Banks even as a young kid. If you told me I would have the 4th best Banks master set on PSA, my head would have exploded. Most fun I've had in this hobby in my life. Ernie Banks, too, was a great person to meet in person. You could be in a line of 80 people. Ernie Banks would talk to you for 20 minutes. And people had to make him move on to the next person. He would just keep that conversation going. Money Mike, my parents would never pay me cards, so now I can afford 5-figure cards. I can appreciate it and pass it on to my son. That's what this is about. People say that cards are not an investment, but it all depends on me what you think an investment is. I don't know if it's only about the dollar amount, but like my 6-year-old son right now goes to shows with me, and he's shaking people's hands and talking to them. That's an investment.
100%. And I think too, it's I mean, I've seen people literally didn't even know they had $1 million collection in their basement that they're from their grandparents, and they're like, "Oh, this isn't worth anything," and then they're sitting there looking at a ton of Mickey Mantles and whatever Roberto Clemente's, all these big guys. One of my friend's grandfather just passed away, unfortunately. He told me that he left it to him in his will, and he thought he was supposed to leave him like $1 million, and he thought it was gonna be cash. And guess what? It was cards. Literally was worth that many. He had tons, Mickey Mantles, Babe Ruth, all these Michael Jordan cards. Like it was insane. It was insane.
And I'm a kid from Chicago that walked in the living room and told my father some things I was thinking about collecting. And I seen the values in the magazine, and he said, "Well, let's do it." And that right now we're sitting here in 2022 on a StreamYard talking about stuff, and that's just how it all happened. And I went to school on the south side of Chicago, so kids weren't talking about collecting. And if you went to school talking about collecting, people look at you like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah. But even through all that, I knew it was something that I probably should be doing. And just investing in something. Like I wanted a check account at 8 years old. I couldn't get one until I was older. My parents had a cosign for it. I wanted to start a small business when I was like 9 years old. I just always been minded like that. So it's good to be able to experience this now with, my children and people in the family, and meet good people and talk to them, and have people in the chat talking about stuff. It's all good about me. It's something I've been for a long time.
Love it. Love it.
Well, TJ, I appreciate you, because I know you're on the time zone where it's getting late.
No worries.
I really appreciate you getting on. And I would give it probably about March of next year, man. I need to get to where you are. And
you want to link up?
Yeah, bro. I need to experience cars with you, get out, see some stuff. I think it'd be
great.
Be phenomenal, man.
Yeah, right now I'm actually going to begin to plan, some shows that I want to do, obviously locally, but also, travel a little bit. But I'll get with you, and then we can, work something out for sure. I'm definitely going to try to get to the National next year. Okay. I literally have a ton of people that want me to go. And I just know I need to, just to meet people and all that too, and get the cars that I want to get.
That'd be cool, man. That'd be cool. It's a great city, right?
Oh, I know. Well, I know.
And I was thinking, like, this time I need to do more. Like, people, we need to get to like a baseball game or do something around that event, even outside of Rosemont, to actually see the city and do some stuff in the city too.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be
cool.
That'd
be fun.
Well, sir, I appreciate you. You're a gym and a hobby, brother.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, and we'll talk soon, man. I appreciate you having me on, and thanks for all your questions and everything like that.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man.
Yep.
See you.
Bye-bye.